This is Let's Talk with Tony Williams. Welcome. You are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station. Bring you the realest information, entertainment, music, lifestyle, and truth in comedy shows around. I don't count likes, calories, blessings. I don't dine with snakes or bite my tongue. It is what it is. I am what I am. I am Tony Williams. And welcome to all the new listeners. Welcome to all my day ones. Big shout out to the private group on Facebook, On One's Day Ones. Y'all a trip and I love you. Much love and respect to y'all. If you are new, to contact the show by email, you can email at tonyononespreaker@gmail.com or on1radiotalk@gmail.com or by phone 337-513-4478 or by Skype live Tony on 12 chat. Make sure to like, share, and follow on all the social media sites. Yes. We get it in here, and today we get into a little bit of sports. Yes, we are, because this story here is a trip, but it just goes to show how people really feel about other people and how people are taking it, and the mentality of others can ruin a good thing. We will be talking about, like I said, some sports. It's dealing with DeAndre Hopkins and how he almost skipped the game over Bob McNair's inmate comment about saying he feels like he's a slave. And with everything we have going on in society, with all the racism and all that crap, it's showing more and more that people have not really matured or grew up or have actually really learned anything about humanity. But we're learning more and more about the comfort that people feel in showing their racism. And it's not limited to just everyday people. It's happening everywhere. Now, DeAndre Hopkins skipped practice over late Houston Texans owner Bob McNair. Now, this happened in 2017, so this is pretty much something that already happened, but it's pretty much back in the news. It was basically over his comment likening NFL players to inmates. And like I say, that really says a lot. It does. And for this story, if you would like to read it for yourself, if you follow me on Twitter, go to my Twitter page and you will see this story. Now let's dive in. In a GQ interview published on Tuesday, the Texans wide receiver admitted that he almost skipped the game. McNair, who died in November at 81, reportedly made the comment during a 2017 owners meeting while discussing how to approach the issue of players kneeling during the national anthem to protest issues of social injustice and police brutality. Like I said, this is an ongoing thing, and the more it is publicized, the more information is out there for you guys to be aware of. The statement goes as follows. We can't have the inmates running the prison, McNair, a campaign contributor to President Donald Trump, said at the meeting, according to ESPN. Hopkins, hell yeah, I was about to sit. Hopkins, a Colin Kaepernick supporter who has knelt in protest, expounded on his response to McNair's comment in the GQ interview. And it goes as follows. Hell yeah, I was about to sit out the game, Hopkins said, but I definitely wasn't going to practice. a couple of my teammates about to follow me, but they called them back up to the stadium. They tried calling me, but I wasn't going back. Hell no. Now, the game in question was a matchup against the Seattle Seahawks that saw Hopkins and several of his teammates take a knee after he eventually decided to suit up. Hopkins told GQ that he ultimately decided to play in order to not let his teammates down. Hopkins stated, "It feels like I'm a slave again." The seventh-year pro who grew up in South Carolina explained how McNair's comment felt to a man who's a descendant of slaves with family members who relayed stories about living in the Jim Crow South. And it goes on to say, "It's hard for people to understand what that means when your family was slaves," Hopkins said. "You can't relate to something like that if your great uncle's not telling you stories about their parents or their grandparents and what they went through. Not even too long ago. People couldn't even drink out of the same water faucet." Basically, Hopkins explained, it made him feel like he was being treated as a slave. "It feels like I'm a slave again," Hopkins said. "Getting ran over. Listen to the master. Go to work." Now that's kind of strong, everybody, but it's the truth. It's how he felt. And I can clearly understand that because, my family is vast, or it's a lot of us, and I've also had to hear stories. Not only that, experienced some myself as a child, which was not very long ago. And what's going on today, things have not changed. It's actually more open, and it's sad. Hopkins gives McNair benefit of the doubt. Hopkins did go on to call McNair a good man in the interview, giving him the benefit of the doubt of his upbringing. "When you grow up certain places, you talk a certain way," Hopkins said. Hopkins, a three-time Pro Bowler, continued to talk of his support of Kaepernick, noting that before Deshaun Watson arrived in Houston, he hadn't had the benefit of working with the Pro Bowl quarterback. Now, I know a lot of people view the whole kneeling and not kneeling as a sign of disrespect. True enough, to each his own, but at some point, common courtesy and common sense should override stupidity and ignorance. And you cannot mistreat these players. You cannot, because they are human. This is their job. This is not for fun. This is not what they're doing just because. Some players enjoy it, so it can be fun for them. But as far as the negative stereotypes that are coming from it, that's not fun. And that can actually ruin the sentiment of the game. These men put their bodies on the line for us, for our entertainment, for our pleasure. Yes, they get paid for this, but they don't get paid to be ridiculed, to be pushed and treated like they're slaves or like they're less than human. They're not animals. They are men. Strong men who you chose to play and pay these millions of dollars to. But it does not give anyone the right to belittle them, to treat them like they are less. It is not right. It is not. And the way America is going, I can understand why they will not kneel. Because the truth be told, the national anthem is, in fact, a slave song, basically. Actually look at the words of it. You'll see for yourself. But they should not be belittled or degraded or treated as if they were inmates or slaves. They are not in prison. They're not slaves. African Americans are free. Free will was given to us all. So if these players choose not to kneel, it should not be that big of a deal. They should not be belittled for it because they are men. They're not boys. They're not animals. They're not inmates. They deserve respect, decency, and courtesy. And this shows that there is no professionalism. And it does not make it right. Because should they decide to not play in the NFL at all, then how is everyone going to feel? Then where are you guys going to make that money from? It's $1 billion industry plus. Without the players, you have no job. You have no income. These franchises would suffer. So without them, you have nothing. Treat them with decency, respect, and common courtesy, because they deserve it. They deserve nothing less. These players are out there putting their bodies, their hearts, their minds, everything out there on the line. Give them respect. Give them courtesy. It does not take much effort to do that. And this whole inmate thing, these guys are not inmates, nor are they slaves. So they should not be treated as such. Now, if you guys are listening to this on any of the podcasts, you can also listen to this on my YouTube channel. So make sure to go over there and like, share, subscribe for Raw Uncut Truth. That is on One Radio. And once again, don't forget to like, share, and follow on all the social media sites: Tumblr, Facebook, Vigo Video, Snapchat, WordPress, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course Live Me. On One Radio is powered by Spreaker.com. The On One Talk Show podcast station is found at www.spreaker.com/user/TonyOn-and1. Thank you for tuning in. Much love and respect to you all. And go Cowboys. Yes, I'm a Cowboy fan. Till the day I leave this earth. Yes. And like I said, you guys be wonderful. Have a great afternoon. And be blessed. This has been Let's Talk